How's everybody doing? Surviving? Yes? Great. Raise your hand if you've ever dreamt of going to space. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Now, hold on to that feeling. Lift off, you're there. Aboard a private space station, orbiting the planet, or on your way to the moon. What do you experience? What do you hear? What do you watch? What lifts your soul? Because if we are what we eat, we are also the content we consume. Today, I want to talk about the evolution of the arts in space and why I believe our lives depend on it and what we can do about it. Because a society that does not nurture its arts cannot sustain its humanity. Not on Earth and not in space. I know, it sounds epic, poetic, ambitious. It is, all of it. My name is Natasha Tsakos. I create, direct, design, engineer theatrical adventures. I'm in love with a theater that does not exist. And that is what keeps me going, the question and the possibilities, the constant search of new modalities. From integrating 3D projection mapping on stage in the early 2000s to rethinking the medium of activism by developing an interactive reality experience, to producing the greatest car wash show on Earth that defied expectations in a pandemic, I deal with propulsion systems, high-grade parabolic, that cause reflection, release, and catharsis. Like a magician, my goal is to transport you to other worlds while never seemingly leaving this one. And I know what some of you are thinking. Why should we care about the arts? You're right. There's a lot of noise. And watch the noise unfurl now that Gen AI has democratized access to literally everybody. And while the word art could use disruption, it shouldn't be dismissed. Because these three letters contain the archives of our human history. Crack the shell open and we discover the Parthenon, Da Vinci, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, The Rite of Spring, Dali, Banksy, your favorite artist maybe. Works of art stimulate the theater of our imaginations, provoking realizations buried deep within. Because we understand in rhythm, we dream in visions, we emote through motion, we process through sensory perception. An encounter with a great work of art is it's a shock to the system. It's a shrink session, an epiphany, it's love-making and it's war, it's all and it's nothing, and it's happening right now. It's the long-awaited conversation with yourself. It's how we feel and build memories. It's the commemoration of our time in history. It's the representation of where we are as a society in the minutiae scheme of a cosmic timeline. It's Renaissance's rebirth of classical knowledge with scientific inquiry. It's the enlightened groundwork for human rights and democracy. It's the deconstruction of modernism that inspired movements in science, technology, philosophy. It's the golden record of images, languages, music spanning cultures, flying in space aboard the Voyager, representing humanity. Artist, power, culture. They are social sensors and transmitters of ideas. And now more than ever, we need them. When we are trolled en masse, manipulated to opinionate by algorithms without even recognizing it, we need those who swim against the currents of cultural complacency. When the art of conversation itself is dying, we need other modalities through which we can process the world and make sense of it. We need hopeful reimaginings, don't we? When meeting someone for the first time, I often describe theater as my spaceship, where by the thrust of the imagination, we suspend into disbelief and probe the unknown. And the metaphor is not coincidental. For as long as I've been performing, I have been dreaming of creating shows for space. For the thrill, yes. And the extraordinary opportunity to reimagine new forms, formats, and narratives for the benefit of our spacefaring future. I know, it sounds epic, poetic, ambitious. It is, all of it. Throughout the years, space became very real for me. I participated in Dr. Patricia Cowing's Lunargy and Impedance study at NASA Johnson Space Center, where I flew the lunar parabolic flight, most intense experience of my life. Partook in neutral buoyancy training at NASA Ames while at Singularity University. Completed the New Space Economy program at MIT, which helped me crystallize my creative place in the industry. I'm currently studying at the International Institute for Astronautical Sciences and part of a NASA accelerator. Okay, you get it. Today, I am in full space focus, as a friend of mine likes to say. So, let's talk space. Starship, the largest rocket ever built, developed to ferry humans to Mars, just completed its first orbital test flight. China's Tiangong space station is expanding and operational. NASA plans to land the first woman and person of color on the moon and establish a lunar base by 2030. Right now, SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, Space Perspective, the list keeps on going, offer unprecedented experiences. From slow balloon ascents to the stratosphere, to thrill rides above the atmosphere, to month-long journeys orbiting our planets. Right now, you can purchase a spaceflight ticket. And your children will take the same trip at a fraction of its cost for a very real honeymoon. The space industry is booming, you get it, with private and public players across a variety of subsectors. Where are the artists? If we're going, shouldn't we bring the rhythms, the visions, the innovations? What narratives will we export to space? Will we recycle plot lines and make endless remakes? Or will we innovate and produce utterly original experiences that reflect our times and inspire generations? We need to prepare for a future that is inevitable. Start training artists for space environments and begin developing the new stories and experiences we will present and partake in space today. And it is not a copy-paste answer. Take existing form, space transfer. No! No, it's a brand new medium. For starters, there is no gravity. Let's float with that metaphor for a second. Sure, you'll tell me, but Natasha, some space stations are working on artificial gravity. Yes, and still, let's let the new medium inspire the form. Let's let the physiological, the psychological, the scientific needs inspire and challenge new forms. Today, I am on a mission to explore theatrical and choreographic experiences in microgravity. Step 1 of the journey. This is not a stunt. It is a deep exploration and reimagining of content and form. Next year, my team and I will create the first multimedia performance in microgravity aboard a parabolic aircraft. We have a performance crew of 5, 2 videographers, 3 performers captured in real time inside the cabin over the span of 25 parabolas, each parabola producing 22 seconds of weightlessness, totaling 10 minutes. And the production will materialize through the delicate interplay of live action and post-production. To train, we will work, because we need to understand how we work with our new center of gravity. We need to prepare for various gravitational forces, and we will train underwater in wind tunnels and aerobatic flights. And we will be working with scientists who want to gain a biometric insight in that environment. So by bridging performance art and science, we can democratize access for researchers who may want the environments of microgravity and human subjects to further their experiments. Our final rendition will take the form of an art film, a documentary, and a weightless immersive installation. Thank you. From cave to page, to canvas, to stage, to film, to digital, to brainwaves, to space. Space is the new medium. Let's facilitate the interdisciplinary collaboration between artists, engineers, and space companies. Let's support artistic programs on space missions not as an afterthought as they exist now, but where artistic installations, sonic, multimedia, augmented, live, are fully integrated and a routine part of life aboard space stations and eventually space habitats for the future of its inhabitants. Think of the arts as an innovation engine for human-centric design. Think of the arts in all of its forms as the greatest tool of communication. Think of the arts in all of its forms as a theater for the human imagination. Yes, some of us are dreaming of going to space. Yes, we are, and we're ready. But let's face it, the reality is not as romantic as the metaphor that space represents. Right? It's the poetry we chase. Because think about it. As we embark on long-duration space missions, with extended periods of isolation and confinement, with greater distances from Earth, what will bring us earthly comfort? What will we experience beyond the initial thrill, the science, and blackout of space? Music, literature, art, culture, experiences that inspire us to aspire further, and that's what it's all about. That's why we're here, for the ultimate quest of the unknown. I believe in a future where the performing arts flourish alongside the space industry while benefiting science. We're not abandoning the Earth. We're not forgetting what matters. We are not resigning our duties as good stewards of this planet. None of it. We are infusing a vital element into a rapidly growing industry that will fare humanity beyond. And isn't that an idea worth doing? We are evolving. This is the next step for artkind, humankind. I know, it sounds epic, poetic, ambitious. It is, all of it. Leap with me.